Hi, y'all. We're tuning in for another episode. Make That Radio Show. I'm your host, Andreas, and this is Music and Business Talk. And we have a returning guest. I think this might be like about the third time, I believe, with Lirty E, who is not only a recording artist, but now a content creator, a businesswoman, doing a lot of different things, a teacher as well during the day. So, Lirty, welcome back to the platform.
Thank you. Thank you. So happy to be here. Good to see you. Feel like I ain't seen you in forever.
Yeah, it's been a good minute. I'm like, whatever that when you made that post a few weeks back or whatever, talking about, you know what I'm saying? Because what prompted that? You was going through like your pictures or something, like memories or something like that?
When?
When yeah, posted on
Oh yeah,
Facebook
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
it's
I was
like when
going
we was
through my
at
memories. Yeah.
yeah, we was at Spark making it and took that picture together.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, but I wanted to, bring you back and, talk about what's been going on in your life. You've switched careers as far, no, not really switching careers, but I guess you just, pivot and went to a different direction. You was really on the making the music, and then the content creation started taking off. So I wanted to dive into that, and then you can talk about some strategies and stuff like that that people necessarily don't think about, and how has the landscape of content changed? Because you've been doing it for I think about what 6, 7 years now.
Yeah. I'm knee deep up in there. It's been a minute.
Yeah, so you've learned a lot of things that have transpired over the course of just what content creation is, the platforms, the algorithms constantly changing, which platforms working good for you versus which ones, you know what I'm saying, very much not so. But let the audience know, one, what got you into going into like, content creation?
Um, Music. I, like you said, I started out making music and
uh,
during the time I trying to kind of transition into content, I
mhm,
really didn't want to do it. I didn't really want to transition into content. Music was all that I had known,
mhm,
since I was 12. So um a new wave was coming in and I was like, there you got to use content in order to promote your music.
mhm,
So I had been making like little videos here and there, but it was just for fun. It wasn't like, something that I took seriously. And then I just started shooting my own music videos and I
mhm,
was like, I kind of like this. I kind of like filming and editing and directing.
mhm,
So I started doing it more. I have been doing it a long time. I think it was like 20, I think I started in 2020, I want to say, is when
mhm,
I started. And then, unfortunately, in 2021 or 22, something like that, my page had got taken down on TikTok. This is TikTok.
mhm,
And it took me a long time to kind of bounce back from that because it was a hurting feeling. It was
mhm,
hurting because I had built my platform up and I had so many followers, and just to have it swept from up under me was devastating.
mhm,
I think like probably about 2 years later is a year or two. So I would say 2021 because around about 2023 is like when I started just really buckling down and like I need to start taking content more seriously.
mhm,
Um, and still now, like it's not really about the money for me because honestly, we don't make what people think we make. Um,
mhm,
but I just do it because I love it. I love making people laugh. I love bringing joy to people's life.
mhm.
I even love when people stop me on the street. They be like, "Oh, I know you. I watch your videos all the time." And man,
Yeah.
that's an unexplainable feeling.
Yeah, I definitely like the fact that your why is, it's more purposeful, it's bigger than just yourself. You said you like to bring joy to people, and, give them that sense of relief that they have out their day because, times are hard. And then, people just go through a lot or whatever. So when they go to social media, they're looking for that escape.
Hmm.
You
One of those.
said, yeah, you said that your original page on TikTok had get taken down. Did they tell you why it was taken down?
It was an ex of mine.
Ah, okay.
It was an ex of mine. We parted ways, and I guess
Mm-hmm.
she didn't like the way things went, and the way I kind of parted my way. And
Mm-hmm.
she reported my page, and they took it down with no investigation or anything. So that's one thing I really don't like about some of the social media sites.
Mm-hmm.
They really don't investigate as much as they should. They'll just take it
Mm-hmm.
down within an instant.
Mm. So, building a page, like, what does that look like? Like, for all those who really want to jump into it, because I think now, like you said, and I want to go back and revisit this too. No matter what you're doing, whether you're an artist, whether, you know what I'm saying, you're a baker, whether you're a physician, it seems like content creation is a thing that you have to do with social media and to really be able to promote your business. What does that look like as far as building a platform from zero followers to, thousands, you know what I'm saying, hundreds of thousands of followers? What does that look like?
Consistency. Like you have to be consistent. You have
Mm-hmm.
to post regularly every
Mm-hmm.
single day. Don't
Mm-hmm.
skip a day. It's gonna throw off the algorithm. You
Mm-hmm.
have to post consistently. And I think most people get so caught up in the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Don't look at the numbers, especially when you're first starting out.
Mm-hmm.
You should be doing this because it's something that you love. It's something that you like to do. So bring that spirit and put it into your work. And the people, the numbers, the followers, they're gonna come because they're gonna see you being your true, authentic self.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Consistency, like I said, being yourself. Um, Stepping outside of the box.
Okay.
Um, there are gonna be a lot of because let me use me for an example. When I first
Mm-hmm.
started out, and still now to this day, I really don't feel like I have a niche.
Mm-hmm.
um, Niches are just categories that the algorithm places you in.
Mm-hmm.
Me, I don't feel like I fit into any category because I make so many different videos and whatever comes to mind, whatever I'm
Mm-hmm.
experiencing, I use those experiences to put out content. So, follow the trends, but get into the
Mm-hmm.
trends. Use the trending sounds. Um, Follow other people, comment on other people's things, like repost. All of that is telling the algorithm, hey, I'm active.
Mm-hmm.
Come send some people over my way. I'm shooting some stuff over here too. All of that in one bowl will help you get to where you need to be.
So what does it look like as far as because like what I've been doing here lately, I've been on threads, right?
Mm,
And I like the way that people talk on threads. I like the fact that it seems like it's a community. People are passing information. I've actually met a couple people off of threads in person.
really?
Yes. So, but that's me. I like to go that extra step. One, I like just meeting people in general. So to, link up with somebody, be like, hey, you know what I'm saying? This is where I'm gonna, be at, blah, blah, blah. Let's sit down for a meeting or whatever. Because again, I get like threads is this sense of community. And it's getting popular. And like one of the features that I had access to before, a lot of people were like actually the podcast links. And I don't have a whole lot of thread followers, but it was because I was interacting, like you said. I talk and I post on people's threads. I comment. I give them like good advice, my experiences, understand what they're talking about, and building this sense of community and value. How does like because I see a lot of people they want to be content creators, and then they talk about like wanting to work with people, but not necessarily putting in the energy and effort that it takes to like really do collaborations or having a clear understanding of what they want to achieve out of like a collaboration. How's those experiences been for you? And then overall, what do you see as like, the ones who are successful? What are they all doing or what do they seem to have in common versus the ones that are not as successful as they want to be?
collaboration. You know, that's what is gonna make you or break you.
Hmm.
Learning how to work with others, learning how to network, learning how to work the rooms. Um, Lucky for me, I kind of had a head start with music.
Hmm.
Like it was a gateway for me. I learned how to network. I learned how to go out and talk to people, like trying to promote my music. So I kind of transitioned that over into content creating.
Hmm.
But I have yet, besides you, I
Hmm.
have yet to really collab with any other content creators. And I think it's because a lot of them they jump in it and they think that, it's easy, but it's not. It's not as easy as shooting a video and posting it. It's not that
Hmm.
simple. Like you have to put in the background on the back work. Like you have to work on the back end. It's not just one and done. No.
Hmm.
I think that is what deters a lot of people when they jump in. They don't understand how much work comes along with it. And I think for me that what made it so easy because music and content are so relatable when it
Hmm.
comes to the background work. Like you have to go out, you have to shake those hands, you have to um, meet new people and network. But even with music, it was hard to get artists to collab or to meet you at the studio or to lay down their verse. And it's the
Hmm.
same thing with content creating. Like people just I don't know if they're not taking it serious. And then there are some content creators who are I wouldn't say that they are superstar status, but they are a little above my lane, and I've reached out to them, but it's like I understand paying because I don't mind paying,
Hmm.
but it has to be reasonable.
Hmm.
If I have 30,000 followers and you have 50,000 and you want to charge me, I stack the work, that doesn't make sense to me. You're
Hmm.
only 20,000 followers above me. I
Hmm.
can do that. That's easy numbers. But I'm
Yeah.
not, what we can do is we can take that money and we can collab together
Yeah.
because it's so much, there are so many content creators in the middle Georgia area. And
Hmm.
if everybody would just come together and work, do you know how far that we can go?
Yeah. I
But
think
people,
you. Go ahead. Finish it now. Finish your
people,
thought.
they just, I don't know. I don't know. They just not latching on. They're just not understanding. And I think that my ideology is just so far gone
Hmm.
that we just not on the same wavelength.
Yeah, I think what my experience has been when I was down there is that, it has everything that's there to be able to create and amplify a lot of different things to the point to where it becomes known on a nationwide and worldwide scale. But again, I think it's a lot of people's mentality. And like
Mm-hmm.
you said, their ideology of if they didn't create the idea or if it's not about them per se, they don't want to participate in it because they're looking for validation in the wrong places and
Mm-hmm.
they won't step outside their comfort zone. I'm like, with all the different collaborations I did with folks and all the different, things, I brought along the way. 500 million people listen to podcasts worldwide. That's a huge audience to tap into. Don't waste your time just starting. Use your time wisely by starting correctly. Hi, I'm Andreas, and I built Bank That Radio Show from 0 to 11,000 followers. And if you're trying to start a podcast, I wrote an ebook about it. Clear, concise. You don't have to have the biggest audience. You don't even have to have an audience at all and still can monetize your podcast. Remember, everyone has a story. If you've been on the internet searching, there's a lot of information out there how to start your podcast and it can seem overwhelming. I believe in the KISS model. Keep it simple, stupid. Short, concise, straight to the point, all in the ebook. You can change your life in a week. Start your podcast, launch it, and monetize it all within a week. You can go to the pay link, check out the book. You can also subscribe to the newsletter. Get more advanced techniques and lessons. You can change your life in a week. Like I was saying, my experience down there, I'm like, I wanted it for everyone. And it just wasn't gonna happen, and I don't think it will happen anytime soon because of the mentality. So
You can't want it more than they do.
exactly, and I don't think everybody, like you said, they don't want to put in the work. They think it's gonna be easy, and then they let their ego, um, you know, control opportunities because they
Mhm.
should be one. Like you said, there's a lot of talent down there. There's a lot of different ideas. I've seen a lot of different people blow up doing different things. And if they just keep collaborating with one another, when it's bigger than just one person, but everybody would benefit though. Just
Mhm.
think about that. Everybody would benefit. So when it comes to the content creation, and like you said earlier, you're talking about how even as an artist, you didn't want to like, do content creation. Why do you think artists feel that way? Like, what is it about content creation and pushing your music that artists don't want to like put together and they just want to record and just put it out and be, I guess, okay with it?
Honestly, for me, it was just like you said, I didn't want to put in the work. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't want, and that was just like recording. Like I never, which I regret, I never wanted to learn how to go in the studio and what buttons to push to make it sound good. I just wanted to show up and lay down my verse and be done with it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the same thing with content creating. Like I didn't want to shoot the videos. I didn't want to
Mm-hmm.
edit videos. I didn't want to keep posting those same videos over and over and over again. You know, I didn't want to do it. But once I put my hand in it and once I dabbled in it, I was like, this is something that I actually like. I
Mm-hmm.
love doing this. I love shooting the videos and directing and know what angle I want and what angle I didn't want, what to cut out,
Mm-hmm.
how loud I want this music or how low I want this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's another thing that kind of like pulled me in, the fact that I was able to control how I wanted everything to go. Um, and I think a lot of artists, well, the ones who are really serious, I think once they start getting into the content market, they'll
Mm-hmm.
see like how first of all how much it'll um expand your brand. But
Mm-hmm.
secondly, I think it'll be something that they'll like to do because a lot of artists like myself, we are controlling in certain aspects. Like we like
Mm-hmm.
things to go a certain way. I know that I do. Just that's just because of my work ethic.
Mm-hmm.
I like things a certain way. So to be able to control a lot of that, that what kind of pulled me in. And I think that kind of comes with maturity also,
Mm-hmm.
because once again, going back to the business, I mean, back to the music side, a lot of artists don't want to learn the business side. They just
Mm-hmm.
want to show up. And it's like, that's how a lot of y'all are being forced into these ugly deals because you're not showing up for yourself. You want other people to show up for you, but you're not showing up for yourself. You
Yeah.
have to be present. You are your first manager. You are your first publicist. You are your first everything. You're going through all those steps so you can learn that when you get to that higher level, you won't have people, pulling you this way, that way, that way, and you just going because you don't know. Me, I like to learn different things. I like to learn new things. And I think just I learn a lot from experience.
Yeah. Yeah. They say experience is the best teacher. Um, so you've done a lot of different content, like you said. You've had, I guess, I want to say, I think your first like really big, massive viral video was that the one where you was throwing the fish grease or the grease out of the door? I mean,
Oh
this
yeah,
is what you
yeah,
do with your
that
grease. You
was
throw it out
fun.
outside.
Yeah, that was my first million views video. Yeah.
How did that feel when you were able to accomplish that and you saw that it was very relatable? And then what did that do for you mentally as far as like, okay, now this is the type of approach I'm gonna use because you got real time data off of that and instant feedback from just the community at large.
Um, it was amazing, and it still feels amazing because the video is still actively going viral. Like I think
Hmm.
currently it's at like 22 million views, and it's
Oh
like,
wow.
yeah, but it's at like 1.2 million likes,
Hmm.
which is even crazier.
Yeah.
And just like a million people have seen my face. That's crazy. But
Went to 22 million.
I know, right? It
Yeah.
feels great, man. And then that pushed me into overdrive because
Hmm.
I'm not gonna lie, I tell people not to watch the numbers, but
Hmm.
when you're close to a million and you're like, man, it's any day now, and then it finally happens, you're like, oh my God, it's an undescribable feeling. Like I said, it pushed me to just do more because you're gonna have to do more. People are gonna want more from you.
Hmm.
So just though, and then that what I have that one, and I have two more that
Hmm.
are at a million on TikTok. The one that hit me on the Facebook million threshold was my cooking videos when I do
Hmm.
the aggressive cooking videos. So I kind of retired those. Only because I don't want to be known for cooking content.
Hmm.
I hate cooking. Like to be honest,
Yeah.
I hate it. Those videos were real. What you see are is real passion because I don't like to cook, but
Yeah.
because I'm a single mother of two girls,
Hmm.
I have to cook. So
Hmm.
um, a lot of your content just comes from survival, just
Yeah.
every experience.
What was the latest one that did a million?
Oh, the latest one. Oh, teaching. I was a teacher, and then I was saying how we send the kids to the principal, the kids that are acting out, we send them to the principal, and they come back with a lollipop. And
Hmm.
we're like, oh my God, the teachers and the kids are all in the comments and they're telling
Hmm.
their experiences and it's cool. Um,
Hmm.
it's sometimes don't read the comments, y'all. Sometimes you can read the comments,
Hmm.
but don't read the comments all the time because sometimes the comments can be very, very, very discouraging.
Hmm.
So just be wise when you're reading the comments. Yeah.
No, I definitely get that because as you get success, you feel like, other people are envious of that and that the fact that they feel like you don't deserve it and therefore they're trying to troll and, eat off your coattails and stuff.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot of that. It's a lot of that. And it's a lot of people that who they like you said they're envious and then there are people who live with their mom in the basement and they just want to say some crazy things to you.
Hmm.
But you got to learn how to decipher the good and the bad when you're reading the comments. So when you're first starting out and your video goes viral, and I would say read about those first 10 comments
Hmm.
and it'll tell you which way your comment section is kind of leaning. And if you
Hmm.
know that it's going left and then you need to left, get up out of
Yeah.
there.
What would you say to people like you go viral, you establish yourself, and you start to get a name known? What other opportunity comes along with that, or what have you been able to get, receive, put in front of, to where you can maximize those other opportunities or those spinoffs?
Um, I'm still working out the kinks, but I had an opportunity with this guy. He owned this company called the Cook Shop, and he gave me the opportunity to. He gave me an endorsement deal, which which allowed me to create content the way that I wanted to and to promote his business.
Hmm.
So that was a great opportunity and I thank you so much again for that opportunity. Um
Hmm.
I am figuring out for me, I do want to get into shooting contents for businesses.
Hmm.
But I really don't know how to go about doing it.
Hmm.
Um, there are a lot of other opportunities out there. I think for me, it's so difficult because of the environment and where I live.
Hmm.
And I'm working on that. Once I get out of here, once I go to an inner city, I feel like the opportunities will be endless.
Hmm.
I'll be able to network with a lot of other people. I think my dream from content is to go into acting. You know, I like being able to step into somebody else's persona.
Hmm.
Um, I like shooting, I like editing, I like directing. Um, just all of those aspects of, different alleyways that I can take. Um, I just need help.
Hmm. So do you think you would take on the mantle of, like you said, until you can relocate to where you want to be at, right? Would you build the infrastructure and create the situations to where, you're putting everything out there, you're being, like you said, the director, the writer, and all that, you're shooting and getting other people involved? Or do you just want to be like, not as responsible for all those other aspects and just like, wait on to where you wait on the opportunity for you to relocate?
Whew, wow. I honestly I never really thought about it, but taking back and thinking about it, I'm open to collaborating with other people. I'm willing to step into that role, but it's just building that circle of people who are going to work as hard as I am. I
Hmm.
think that is where the biggest dilemma is. I really don't mind working with other people. I don't mind stepping into the leadership role, but it has to be a balance. I don't want
Hmm.
people around me with egos bigger than the skyscrapers.
Hmm.
It has to be leveled out. And I don't mind. I travel. Like I travel to Atlanta a lot.
Hmm.
So, which is where I'm trying to relocate. So
Hmm.
I don't mind traveling outside of here because I know that bigger opportunities are out here. But I
Hmm.
don't also mind bringing those bigger opportunities to here. But I gotta see where y'all putting the work
Yeah, I definitely get that. Where do you go from here? Because, like you said, you built up your following base. You're constantly putting out content. Um, like you're looking for either the people to work with to do the infrastructure or to go to the, bigger city, inner city, to where, you have more like-minded people. Where do you go from here? Because I'm like, you've accomplished a lot. Do you feel like you plateaued where you are, or do you feel
in.
like you can grow more?
There's definitely room for growth. I tell people this all the well, people tell me this. I think you were one of those people that told me like I don't see all of the stuff that everybody see now. Like,
Hmm.
I don't think that I'm just well established right now. I think because I have that tunnel vision and I see where I want to be. I want to be in Hollywood. I want to be hosting. I want to
Hmm.
be acting. I want to be a spokesperson on a commercial doing brand deals and things of that sort. That
Hmm.
is where my mind is.
Yeah.
But um it's very difficult for me to step back and to see all of that I've already accomplished.
Hmm.
Um, and I think that's because, like I said, I just have my mindset on where I want to be.
Hmm.
And I just, everything around me is building towards that, but it's not where I want to be. So I
Hmm.
feel like if I stop and look around, I'm going to get distracted.
No, I
And
get that.
yeah.
No, I definitely understand that. So I just want to get your perspective on a few things. So me moving up here, being in the Metro Atlanta area, has allowed me to see, what I'm saying, some more stuff that's been going on, but then also take these ideas that I've had and find the right people with them. So with that being said, Do you think Lurdy would ever have her own like reality type show? Because in the essence, that's what you're doing with your content anyway. Because I also want to talk about what do you choose to put on the internet versus what you don't choose to put on the internet. So that's one as far as would you ever consider having a reality show? The other thing is I just signed an artist to where we're working on a documentary for him because he's going to be releasing an album here in May. We're going to start shooting here shortly. So over the next few months, I'm going to be following him around.
Okay.
Do you think that's a pathway for artists to display themselves in a whole totally different manner, or what do you think about those type of visual representations?
Um, I do. I'm gonna start with number two. I do think that that would be great for artists because people want to see you in your natural element. They want to see you outside of your music so they can be able to relate to your music. I don't know about other artists, but all of my music it came from me. It came
Mm-hmm.
from life experiences.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people can relate to those life experiences. But when they see you in your natural element, it's something about that they just can't take away, which relays me over to the first question. I would love to have my own reality show. I think my life is very entertaining.
uh,
Very entertaining. As far as what I put on the internet and what I don't, I put everything on here.
mm,
I don't really have a limit because I know what I'm going through, somebody else is going through the same
mm,
exact thing. There are a lot of teachers out here. There are a lot of single parents out here. There are a lot
mm,
of lesbians out here. There are
mm,
a lot of teaching lesbian single parents out here. So
mm.
um I don't really have a limit. Um I think the only thing that probably off limits is like when like when I'm shooting randomly and I have people in it and they don't consent, then I can't post it. But other
Yeah,
than that, I'm posting everything because um I'm getting a head start on people. If they don't have it, if I'm posting everything, they don't have nothing to talk about.
yeah.
So you that's just like in 8 Mile when
Mm-hmm.
Eminem went in and he dished out everything. He was like, now at the end, you don't have nothing to talk about because I already
Mm-hmm.
aired out all my dirty laundry. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel I live by that principle. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have secrets. I don't have anything to hide.
Yeah,
I'm just authentically me,
yeah.
and people love it, and I'm glad that they love me.
I'm glad they do because you're like me, you're very authentic and transparent. But then there's also been other people that say to like me, for instance, being like, and I see it, people say this in general too. They'll be like, well, you're just being too transparent, you're being too authentic. And I'm like, no, I don't know how to not be me. And then they're
Mm-hmm.
like, well, if you overshare, you won't have anything else to talk about. And I'm like,
Exactly.
that's not, I don't believe that there's a such thing as oversharing because that means that you take my life and you end the experiences. So that's you saying that I'm not going to have any more experiences in life. There's no way that I can't. I'm like, there's no such thing as oversharing because as long as I'm going through whatever experiences, the highs, the lows, you know what I'm saying, the middles, then I have more experiences to share. And like you said, when you put it out there, you never know who will gravitate towards it. And that's what I'm glad you brought it up because I wanted to like get into you sharing about your experience with like losing your job and then posting about that. And then within, I think, a day later, you had got another job opportunity.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that. Like, what was your mindset of like, really wanting to express that and to use the internet as the tool of expressing those emotions?
Um, that day was chaotic. It was chaotic, and I didn't have anywhere else to turn. My internet fam is like my family. Like I built
Mm,
a community, so I felt comfortable sharing that with them. Um, it was just something that I just had to get out of my chest because I knew eventually like it was gonna get out.
Mm-hmm.
So why not come straight to you guys and tell you about it? And the people, they were very supportive, very supportive. And if you know me, then you know I'm a hustler. Like
Mm-hmm.
nothing's gonna keep me down. And so that same day when I got fired, I went home applying for job because I know that I have two, not one but two. I have two daughters that I have to take care of. Like those are my
Mm-hmm.
fire. So I knew that I had to find something else. I was just job applications. Like
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even really have time to process the fact that oh my
Mm-hmm.
god, I got fired
Mm-hmm.
because I went right into go mode. Like okay, I got fired, and like I was the type, and I'm still the type that I'm not scared of losing a job
Mm-hmm.
because there are plenty others out there, and I know what skill sets that I bring to the table.
Mm-hmm.
So it was it was at first when it first happened, of course, that dagger in your heart, but I pulled it out and I was like, I don't have time for that. I got to get back to work.
Yeah.
And that is kind of what led me to getting a job the next day, which is absolutely insane.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I did the application the same day I got fired, and within what minutes of me submitting my application, they called me. It was like, "Oh, we love your resume. We want to call you in for an interview." I was like, "Sure." And she was like, "Can we do it tomorrow?" I was like, "Yeah." So
Mm-hmm.
got there to the interview. In my head, all the way all the way there, I was thinking, I was like, oh my God, what if these people hire me on the spot? That would be amazing. And, I'm already grateful for the opportunity to have a job interview the day after I got fired. Like this wasn't planned. This wasn't in
Mm-hmm.
my plans.
Yeah.
So when I got there, did the interview. Of course, I told her about my story time with Lirty business.
Mm-hmm.
She loved it, and they hired me on the spot, and I've been there ever since.
Do you believe that some people are like predestined to be greatness as long as they are living up to their potential?
Well, I guess you can say that about me.
And that's why I was pointing to because I've always said that there's
Yeah,
big things to come of you. And I've said it
yeah,
over the course of the
yeah. You
years,
have.
and that I will continuously to keep saying that you're built differently. Your mindset, the way you approach things, your love for people, you just have this within you that a lot of people don't exhibit. So I expect, what I'm saying, you to always, as long as you're put in a position, you'll come through and it'll be like amazing. Like when you did the cook shop and you recorded that one video, I saw people sending you gifts.
Yeah,
And I thought that was amazing that, what I'm saying, give the opportunity to push something and then people are supporting you.
yeah,
Um, I believe that some people are predestined to do things as long as they have a support system behind them, they have someone in their corner or someone's, then they'll go and live up to the potential that they're supposed to live up to. And I don't think everybody's like been pushed in that area. People can go and do things, but I don't think it's built. They're not built for that. What is your support system as far as like just having fellow content creators or entrepreneurs like just talking to you, whether it be twice a month, once a week, something like that? Do you have that system in place yet, or are you building it?
Um, well, I have you.
Yeah.
I love to call and talk and wreck your brain about business talk.
Hmm.
When we talk for hours and hours, and I tell people when I mention you, I tell them that I love talking to you because it lights a fire in me. Um,
Hmm.
I've seen you be this business mogul, and I've seen you giving me so many opportunities that endless. I can't even count. So I'm very appreciative of that. So I love the call, and I think you're very wise, and I think you have so
Hmm.
much wisdom. And if you ever had the opportunity where you wanted to manage, I hope that I would be in the number. But you know what? You don't know how grand it is for me to say that because people know me, and I had an interview a prior interview years ago where they was like, oh, You just don't trust nobody. You don't want nobody managing you. Because I've never had a manager. Never
Mm-hmm.
in my life had a manager. I just learned to do things on my own, but to watch you, to see you, you light a fire in me.
Mm-hmm.
So I would definitely be open to the opportunity of you managing me. But
Mm-hmm.
besides you, I really don't. I
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of people who kind of look up to me. Um,
Mm-hmm.
which is crazy. Like, never thought anybody would. Well, Outcast, they have this song that's like, it's crazy that you have people looking up to you, and I never thought in a million years I would have people looking up to me.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, just besides you, I'm like my biggest cheerleader. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I have like my family, my
Mm-hmm.
mom and my niece,
Mm-hmm.
who stay in my corner, help me with my girls,
Mm-hmm.
especially my with my niece. She's well, I have two nieces. They're both active on social media, so they
Mm-hmm.
always telling me, "Oh, my friends, they saw your video. They don't even know that you're my aunt, and
Mm-hmm.
they commented. They're sharing it to their friends." And I'm like, "Yeah, y'all like that, don't you? Your aunt is
Mm-hmm.
famous."
Yeah.
But I don't really have a lot of support. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that is what drives me so hard because I know
Mm-hmm.
that I have two kids and I know that they're dependent on me.
Yeah.
So I think that is what makes me go so hard because I don't want to let them down.
No, I definitely understand that. And, also, and I tell entrepreneurs this all the time, and I see it too. Like entrepreneurs, creatives, because creatives are entrepreneurs anyway. So you're entrepreneurs just many times over. And everyone, no, no, for real. Everything's a business. Storytime with Lirty, you know what I'm saying? You being an artist, that's a business. You being a content creator, that's a business. All that
So many
is
others.
exactly, it's all a business. Being a brand, it's a business. But I don't think a lot of entrepreneurs get the intangibles that they need, which is emotional based support, being having access to other entrepreneurs who are thinking like you to
Hmm.
where you can, even if you're just spitballing ideas, and staying in constant contact, like I said, whether it's once a week, twice a month, whatever the case may be. I think all entrepreneurs should have some type of support system where they have their peers or mentors or whomever that they're entangled with to stay on them, and then also to hold them accountable and stuff like that, because it's a lonely road. And I don't think people talk about that as much either. How being a content creator and an
Hmm.
entrepreneur, solopreneur is a lonely road. What do you do when you have those, roadblocks? How do you stay motivated? How do you keep pushing through, even though sometimes, we set unrealistic expectations?
Like, especially like when someone like me, I'm a single parent. I don't have
Hmm.
anybody to rely on. I'm single.
Hmm.
And it's hard to date. It's hard to
Hmm.
date because as a single parent and as a content creator, because as a single parent, my kids are going to be my main focus.
Hmm.
And as a content creator, it's like people see you on the screen, but they
Hmm.
want to see that person behind the screen. And behind
Hmm.
the screen, I like to sit in my house and just be quiet. Like, I don't like to talk a lot.
Hmm.
And they expect for that person on the screen to be the person that they're sitting with. And I'm like, no, you know, I turn that on and I turn it off.
Hmm.
That that's me, but that's me when it's just me and my camera.
Yeah.
It's not me and another person, another person, another person. It's just me and my camera. So I'm in my mode, I'm in my element then. But when you're dating, you're getting to know people. You're not getting
Hmm.
to know me, the content creator per se. You're getting to know me, Erica, as the person.
Yeah. And I think sometimes it's hard for people to distinguish the two.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you said, you do, because at the end of the day, you're creating content and you're doing it for the purpose of entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to use your talent to bring joys to others. So whatever they're going through. So it's a job at the end of the day. And it's not defined by who you are as a person all the way in totality. It's a part of who you are. It's not that's not your identity. And I think people, misconstrue that. when it comes to like, putting out the types of content, where do you draw your inspiration from? How do you stay creative? 'Cause I've seen you do a lot of different things, and I know you draw a lot off of real life experiences. But what if you're having like a downtime? Do you look for to others and be like, you know what, they did something, I'm gonna put my little spin on it, or everything is basically original and created through your experiences and through your thought process?
For the most part, everything is original. I would say the only thing that I draw inspiration from when I do dance videos, the dance trends, but most of it is just from everyday life experiences. And sometimes I do draw blank. So what I do is I have this system where there's one week where I just constantly, I'm posting, I'm shooting, I'm constantly. And that following week, I'll take it off. I'll take a week off and
Mm-hmm.
I'll gather some content. And then the next week, posting consistency. So it's like a balance. Like I
Mm-hmm.
have to have a balance. Um, a lot of it, like I said, just comes from life, just living. And there are moments where I'm just out shopping and something pops into my mind. I'm like, oh, my phone, like I need to write this down so I can do it later. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's just any moment, anytime. Um, I like it's crazy because I used to say all the time that my music was just I just pulled it out of thin air. But
Mm-hmm.
now that I'm looking back, a lot of those were experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Even with music, I don't do music the way that I used to, but I don't know. Music is like we have a love-hate relationship.
No, I definitely get that. Man, I could get away from music or whatever, and then, I'm still talking about music where I'm still interviewing artists and, understanding, the creative process and putting them out there and just I keep meeting artists and, doing interviews with them and stuff and allowing people to hear their stuff. So now they're getting out there more and they're getting introduced to a new audience and you just can't leave it alone. But I definitely understand what you say about that. What would be like, two pieces of advice that you would give beginning content creators if they want to jump into the industry, jump into the game? What would be those two pieces of advice that you definitely would like, hey, this and this?
Um, I would say first off, you have to be your own everything.
Hmm.
Like you have to be your own director, editor, shooting the videographer, and cheerleader. You have to be your biggest supporter. You have to know that, I'm doing this for a purpose and for a reason. You
Hmm.
can't just be doing it for the money. You can't do it for the fame. It has to be something that's in you. Secondly, I would say consistency. Consistency will get you a long way.
Hmm. Definitely love it. How is story time with Lirty doing?
Storytelling Learning is doing actually pretty good. During the holidays is when our business really picks up. People are having like fall festivals, Christmas events. I know I paint faces. I also added character rentals. So I have characters. I have Mickey Mouse, Sonic, the Easter Bunny, Santa Claus, and I think that's all that I have right now. But I am planning to get more.
Hmm.
Um, and it's starting to pick up like word of mouth. People are starting to tell each other about it, and
Hmm.
it's starting to grow. Hopefully, like once I relocate, I'll be able to really grow. And,
Hmm.
the goal is to make the business work for me, not to work for it.
Yeah, I can say that I met someone else who does characters and stuff. I actually met her at a birthday party celebration last week. And the thing I wanted to say to you about that is that have you ever thought about partnering your services with other businesses? So what I mean
Yeah.
by that, um, bouncy house companies, right? When they have the bouncy inflatables,
Mm-hmm.
if someone books them, they're also booking a character too.
Mm-hmm.
and you're taking your services and coupling them with that person, and then now that business is seeing even more stuff, and plus you're getting paid for your services and all that, and you're not having to worry about to like do all your own bookings
Mm-hmm.
yourself. You're diversifying your bookings. Have you thought about things like that, or?
Yes, I definitely have. I've especially like people who plan parties.
Mm-hmm,
That would be great to collab with them because with Storytime with 30, I'm planning to add more. I'm planning to expand. I'm planning on adding a magic show and I'm planning on adding games
mm-hmm,
such as like those giant Connect Four games, so people
mm-hmm,
can rent those for entertainment at the parties.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm definitely down to collaborate with any business that's in the party industry, kids
Okay.
party industry.
Yeah, because I'm like that's where you're going towards with that, a whole family, kids, entertainment, which kids always need to be entertained anyway. And
Yeah.
adults need something that's wholesome to where they can entertain the kids and not always, what I'm saying, on the video games and stuff like that and being influenced by all these different things that they don't need to be influenced by.
Exactly.
Um, One thing with collaborations, so you want to work more with businesses. Have you ever thought about just doing a trial run with the business like per week? You go, you pitch to the business. They're like, yes. You take a screenshot of their analytics. You focus your content that week on pushing that business, and then by the end of the week, you see what your content had did for them, and therefore you renegotiate prices.
I never thought of that. That's why I have you for. I think that is a great idea. I never really thought of that. Um, I love the fact that I will also be able to collab my two businesses, content and Storytime with 30, which I've done in the past, but I've never collaborated with another business.
Mhm,
That would be great. But I think the problem for me is once again location.
mhm,
I think once I get to Atlanta, there
mhm,
are a lot of different party planners, and
mhm,
to be able to just shake hands and network and
mhm,
pitch my pitch to not just one but
mhm.
many different brands. And
What's the closest city you're close? What is the closest city outside of your city you're closest to? The next one over.
probably that's like a inner city kind of.
Yeah, well, even if okay, so small cities, right? You can still do the same thing. Like you can go to, let's say, and I'm gonna just say this. Let's say you go to a nail salon, right?
Hmm.
You could do, I'm thinking from the way that I'm thinking about it, you have an audience, right?
Hmm.
The whole point is to drive traffic to that business. Now it's their responsibility to sell, but as long as you get people calling,
Hmm.
talking on social media, or showing up to the door, the sales process is on them because you don't get to control that. That's their sales process. But you're a traffic driver and an influencer and all that stuff. So I would go to them, but look, I do all sorts of type, and then it'll give you a little diversification too. Like creatively, how can you make people see a nail salon business and highlight what that business is doing and do it in a manner to where it's creatively and it's relatable, right? Because that's what you do. You do relatable content. So that's how I would pitch it to them. Any type of business, I don't care what it is, small mom and pop, they all need advertising, right? So that's what you're doing. So instead of them be like, okay, well, I can't afford you, what I'm saying, blah, 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 you're gonna show the value. So that one week, you'll get content that you can post. You'll be able to tag them and collaborate with them on the pages and see their social media pages. So you get to see the insights and all that. You already done did the pre of seeing where they are versus, what I'm saying, what they'll be after that week. But then they'll see the value of what you did. So if they want more, then of course they're gonna be like, you know what, we're gonna hire her. And even if they don't hire you, you have a study now that you did that you can pitch to other businesses.
Hmm.
You're like, look, I increased this person's within a week 500% in reach. or they had like, 50 people calling them after I did this particular type of content with them this week. And you just do that, you just pitch it to other ones. That's all you do. And you keep doing it until you land, you know what I'm saying, the ones that you don't need it because a lot of businesses, small business owners, they can't focus on creating content. Like you know how to do stuff that people don't want to do or they don't know how to do. You see what I'm saying? So you already got a leg up.
You're right. It's just with me, I don't really
Stop
know.
down yourself. Stop down yourself. Stop down yourself. And I
I don't
told
know
you,
how to talk. I don't know how to.
I just gave you the pitch.
I mean, you did, you did, you did, you did, you did, you did, you did. Which is why I keep coming back to you. Which is why I love talking to you because I love the information that you give, and
Hmm.
it's free.
Yeah, well,
It's free,
it ain't gonna be free for long. I've actually been putting exclusive content on
and
Apple.
it should be.
Yeah. Well, no, I did
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So now on Apple, when people go to Apple Podcasts, they can
Mm-hmm.
subscribe monthly to the Apple Podcasts. Uh-huh. And I have exclusive content on there. I have the free interviews that I've done, but I've also been doing, I just did my first solo one where I told people how I used the platform for a free interview and it ended up being a $2,600 payday for me. And I went to a 17-minute detail how I did that.
What?
Yes. But
That's
that's not the first time I've done that though.
no.
No, that's not the first time I've done that. When I knew with the platform within year three, I had something to where I could monetize it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well,
And
that's
now, um, like when people listen to it, they're gonna hear ads first. Like if you go on any platform, Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen, iHeart, all that, wherever you hear,
Pandora.
uh-huh, you can type in the Bank That Radio Show or music and business talk. It pulls it up. When you hit the play button, there's an ad that plays. And then there's two ads at the end as well. And like I was telling people, like my big thing is now that since podcasting has become such a hot commodity, when I have these discussions with people all the time, first thing, like the general consumer think that podcasting is oversaturated and it's not. The reason I say it's not is because of the active numbers. They're looking at the overall numbers, but it's the active numbers that talks about the industry. Yes, there's over 6 million podcasts that's been out there. Only 10% of them are active, meaning that they released an episode within the last 10 days.
That's crazy.
Most podcasts don't even make it past 10 episodes. Because, like you said, with content and music, there's a low barrier entry, right? That means that a lot of people could do it.
Mm-hmm.
But in order to make the money from it, you have to be consistent. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of people don't want to put in the reps that it takes.
Mm-hmm.
So they start to see it, which is cool because then they fall off. So that means that across all genres of podcasts, we're talking about narration, we're talking about kids, we're talking about cooking, relationships,
Crime.
crime, interview style, business, religion, whatever it is, all across all those genres, only 10% is being applied across all of
It's
those
insane.
genres. That means there's 90% room for other people to make a name for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not going to make a name for themselves because they don't want to put in the work.
Mm-hmm. That's all what it is.
Hmm.
It's out there. You just gotta go get it.
Yeah. And now, with the way that they look at it as far as monetization, most people think that you got to have a whole million downloads and all that stuff or whatever to make money, get attract sponsorships, and you don't. You can sell a podcast idea. You don't have to have a tangible. Yeah, exactly. You look at me like, uh-huh. It's been done. You
What?
can sell, yes, you can sell a podcast idea. You just have to sell it to the right person.
Yeah. That's crazy. Like I never thought of that.
Hmm. I had it to the point to where I had people paying me money to not run ads on their interviews.
Why?
Uh-huh. Because they didn't want ads. They wanted the interview was solely to be just about them without any interruption. So I was like, you got to pay me what I charge other people, what I charge other people to run ads.
Exactly. I was just about to say, like, you
So
gotta
I
pay
got paid
people.
not to run ads.
That's crazy. That's good,
Hmm.
but that's crazy.
Yeah, so it's like I tell people there's all these different ways of how you can monetize the platform.
Mhm.
And when you get your numbers up, and now since I done switched distribution feeds for my platform, I'm rebuilding my audio numbers. And when they get to the same level that they were prior to me switching feeds and stuff, it's going to be game over
Mhm.
because I already see the money falling in now.
Mhm.
And next year will be different than this previous. And I just started back in November with building the platform back up because I took a good year and a half off of not really doing anything and getting my life together. And plus, shooting a reality show and all that stuff, whatever, that's a lot of work. But now networking, meeting more people, bringing more a new audience to because my Atlanta numbers have been growing on my analytics because I'm out here in the Metro Atlanta area seeing all
Yes,
these
I'm
different
pretty sure
people.
they are.
And then now those my other numbers are growing. Like Dallas, Texas is starting to grow too because I've done interviewed about 3, 4 people from Dallas.
That's what's up.
And they're tuning in, and got California, and I got other interviews that I have not released yet that I'm going to release. And it just is an ongoing thing of growing, consistently pushing and putting new stuff out there, and just showing people that you could do all these various things, and that what they are telling you out there is not the correct information because they're not the ones that are in it.
Exactly.
Um,
Even
and
with you, like
mhm,
even with you seeing you having to start over,
mhm,
I was never worried
yeah,
because I've seen what you can do.
mhm,
So it wasn't a thing for me. And I'm like, now I'm in like this point where I'm watching you build from the bottom up.
mhm,
And it's amazing to see you build from the bottom up because when I met you, you already had it.
yes.
Now I get to see you start over. And
uh,
it's like I see it. I think that we get along so well because we're so much alike. I think our work
mhm,
ethic is alike, and I
mhm,
think the consistency, how we are, is alike. I think
mhm.
we're very similar in so many ways,
Oh
and
yeah,
it's just amazing just to see you, building your brand.
yeah. And like you said, you got to witness where I was at the time that you met me at the height. Now you get to witness the rebuild. But here's the interesting thing, though: the rebuild is quicker.
Yeah, when you know what you're doing, yeah,
Exactly, because I
you
got
know
the
what you're
experience.
doing.
Like if you were to see where I built prior or whatever, it took longer. The
Mhm.
rebuild it's like 10 times quicker. I've been able to
Exactly.
accomplish
I'm like, oh, look,
more. Uh-huh.
now
What'd you
I
say?
was about to say this is off the record, okay?
Uh-huh.
I want to say this is out the record, but I was talking with a friend of mine,
Hmm.
and she was saying how her friend was with this girl, and she had an ex-wife, and they had this six-figure business.
Hmm.
And when the wife left her, the wife took all the money, everything, and she didn't
Hmm.
have anything.
Hmm.
But she never rebuilt that. And it's like can't you see that she never had it? She wasn't the person that was putting in all of that work. So, because like you said, if you already had it before, it's nothing to rebrand and rebuild and get that back
Hmm.
and go 10 times over because now
Hmm.
you know you have more knowledge.
Yes. That's the thing that people don't talk about when you're rebuilding and stuff. And when people get accolades and stuff, like I'll relate it back to this and this, what I'm saying, portion of whatever we can put it back in. But so like with Dame Dash and Jay-Z and Kevin Biggs, right? Building Rockefeller.
Mhm.
Dame Dash's thing for over the last 10, 15, 20 years or whatever, what I'm saying? Rockefeller was sold and all that stuff. He always talk about how he built Jay-Z, right?
Mhm.
And I told someone, and I can't remember who I was talking to about it, but I was like, he can always say that, but at the end of the day, if you did it, you could do it
Don't make
again.
one. Yeah.
You can go make another one.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not necessarily just the person, it's a lot of different ingredients. And as
Mm-hmm.
long as the person and new people have those same type of ingredients, you can go build another Jay-Z. But he hasn't.
Because he
And
cheated.
exactly. So you can't take away what Jay was. Yeah, he added to him and he enhanced him. But at the end of the day, if it was all about like really about you and the way that you come off, you can duplicate it because you've learned as a business owner and just a business person in general that you can duplicate what you've done in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So was it really you who built Jay to the point that where you get all that credit and recognition?
Mm-hmm.
Why would you be so bitter? Because once you get past the emotional part, right? Because it's like, what I'm saying, you build a business and it's your baby and stuff like that. I get that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that, what I'm saying, we're not subjected to that. We're humans. We're emotional based creatures at the end of the day. But once you get past the emotional part, you can go and rebuild something if you had that much input into it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know what pieces to put in place for the puzzle.
Exactly. And you
And
can
it's,
even skip a few steps because you've already went through those and you know
hmm
what to do and what not to do. So yeah.
exactly. And that's the thing, if you've done it, you could do it again.
Mm-hmm.
But, the ones who really want to do it or whatever are the ones who go out there and do it time and time again. And everyone, is not who they claim to be. So there's a lot of people out there who get, excuse me, recognition and notoriety. And not to say that they shouldn't get recognition and notoriety, but it's to the degree of where they're praised way more than what their skill set is.
Yeah, like, did you really do that?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And I've always been the person that like, proof is in the pudding,
Yeah.
you know.
It's gonna show up.
Exactly. It does every time.
It's going to because eventually you're gonna have to put in the work.
Hmm.
Eventually you're gonna stop riding people's coattail and you're gonna
Hmm.
have to put in the work. And then it's gonna
Hmm.
show who's actually been doing the work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it just is what it is. But we don't have those discussions in business really. That's why I like talking about the different things and bringing conversations like this to life. Because at the end of the day, we need conversations like these.
Mhm.
And we need to talk about the real stuff, not just all the like the fruits of the labor, what people see, but the labor part itself,
Mhm.
the building of an infrastructure and what that looks like.
Yeah.
You
Even
know,
though, like,
mhm,
even when I was younger, looking at 106 in Park, I used to like listen to they always used to ask that one question: what advice would you give the younger artists, coming up, coming behind you? And they would be like, oh, believe in yourself and
mhm,
some bullshit. I'm
mhm,
like, give me the roots of it,
mhm,
what do I need to do in order to get to the next level?
mhm,
It's like I want to give that to people. I don't
mhm,
want to sugarcoat it. And I think a lot of that was because the artists didn't want to be top. They didn't want to be pushed out of the way. But I'm not that type of person. I want to give it to you. I want to help you. But I gotta
mhm,
see the fire in you. You gotta
mhm.
help you more than I do.
I had to learn that lesson a lot when I first jumped out there in entrepreneurship world. And I think it was between the years of 2006 all the way to about 2010, 2011. And it took me a while to learn that. But when I did, though, everything else started taking off. And I was able to focus because I wanted it more than other people. And I
Mm-hmm.
told them I can't be wanting this more because I'm putting way more energy and effort into it. And I'm getting so emotionally involved that what I'm saying, it's jeopardizing relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't do that. They got to show that they want it. And if they, like I tell a lot of people all the time, like y'all talk a lot, but y'all don't put in the work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, there's been days where like when I started doing the podcasting again and started going hard and I understood what I wanted to accomplish this time. There were days I was waking up 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and my girl right there in bed, she's like, "Damn, what are you doing?" I'm working on stuff, working on stuff, working on stuff, sleeping 3, 4 hours
Mm-hmm.
because I wanted it. I wanted to build that momentum. And now I got the momentum going and I'm keeping it going. And I got other things that I'm working on and I'm strategizing. And like I said, I'm pulling all these different components together for the overall structure of what I'm building. And it's just more and more every day. And I'm like I'm about to when we get done, I'm gonna tell you some things that I want you to do within the next couple of weeks
Okay.
to really help your content, to get you paid more, and to bring more opportunities to yourself. So we're gonna have that discussion off video.
Okay.
But people gotta want it more. And a lot of people talk. That's all they do is talk. And I got to the point where I tell people, like, look, you could tell me so many times that you want to do something, but until your actions dictate and show, I'm not gonna
Exactly.
believe you.
Exactly. There are so many times that I've tried to build a creative community here.
Hmm.
Like, per se, we have a lot of different meetup spots we can meet up and shoot content. Just all the content creators meet up at one place. We get all the content that we need and we post it, we share,
You
we
know about that
comment.
place in Fort Valley? There's a content like creator space
Oh yeah, I
studio.
saw that. I think I saw that on TikTok. Yeah, and
Hmm.
I didn't even know that until I scrolled on it one day on TikTok. And I was like, that's Fort Valley.
Hmm.
I never knew that.
I'm like, that's in your neck of the woods, so that's a
I know,
option right
right?
there.
I definitely need to get on that because I never knew that it was a definitely yeah, and it's close to home, like you said. Yeah,
Hmm. So yeah, but yeah, I'm sorry. Finish your thought though.
I don't even know what I was saying.
You was just talking about creating a community and stuff like that,
Oh
and what
yeah,
your
yeah,
trials
like
have been.
just people don't want to. They don't want to put in the work. They don't want to do it, and it's like I can't, like you said, like we said, I can't want it more than you do. I'm
Hmm.
giving you the tools. I'm giving you the opportunity, and it's free. All
Hmm.
thing you gotta do is be here. Pull out your phone, shoot some content, maybe chop it up, and then
Hmm.
post it. I'm gonna post it. You're gonna repost it. It's gonna get the attention that it needs because we're working together. We're bigger. We're bigger. We're a bigger brand together.
Hmm.
Now, don't get it wrong. I'm a movement by myself, but
Yeah.
of course, if we're together, you know what I mean?
Yes. Yep. It's in there quote Neo. I'm moved by myself, but forced them went together.
That's right. It's being facts.
I love it. Alert! Let everybody know how can they get a hold of you. They can check out your content. If they want to buy those courses that you putting together, go ahead and plug yourself. Let people know.
All right, y'all. Y'all can find me on any social media platform at Lirty Official. Um, TikTok is like one of where my main focus. But my biggest following is on Facebook. I'm very active on Facebook and TikTok and Instagram as well because my Instagram, my TikTok, my Facebook are linked. So what you see on Facebook, you would definitely see on Instagram, but I would appreciate it if you follow me on all three.
That's what's up. So y'all go and y'all follow Lurdy. Like I said, she's dope at what she does. She's been viral, one, two, three, actually super viral. I like to say the million is super viral, but you've had other videos that have done hundreds of thousands of views too. So you
Yeah.
know what you're doing. So if y'all need some creative ideas, hit up Lurdy. You know what I'm saying, work out what y'all work out and do your thing. As always, you can keep following the platform. And if you like the exclusive content, you can go to Apple and become a subscriber because I do got exclusive content on there that y'all gonna love. And the words, the knowledge, as you heard that Lurdy has said, will help you out and benefit you tremendously. Thank y'all for supporting. And as always, keep checking the social media, banked out underscore radio underscore show on Instagram and banked out radio show on Facebook. Appreciate you, Lurdy.